Well Divas and Well Devos. Today I am sharing my love of candles a little bit deeper than the last video. And I'm going to show you some of my really nice upscale luxury favorite brands because I have a new partnership since last Saturday, and I will tell you about that in a minute. But I have three candles, three of my favorite brands here. And I also want to talk to you about candle care, because when you start moving into spending hundreds of dollars for candles, you want to make sure you know how to take care of them, okay? You want them to last as long as they can and serve the purpose and get every dollar out of it. So I'm going to start with, this one is not super expensive, but because I shared my love of coffee scent, and I like to keep a coffee candle burning in my kitchen in the mornings. This is Paris Cafe, and it is from Bath and Body Works. So not super expensive, usually about $25. And a lot of times you can get them on sale. And that's really the only time I buy them. They'll be like 2 for $25 or $10 off one or something. They always have a special. But if you love a coffee scented candle, this is White Barn at, again, at Bath and Body Works. And it's called Paris Cafe. It is a 3-wick candle. I've burned more than halfway through this one now, but I have a backup. But smells amazing, and it includes the scents of coffee, brioche, and cream. That's what they say on the label. Wonderful, wonderful, not super expensive, and you can catch it on sale. So I just wanted to mention that one because, like I said, I adore a coffee scented candle. And that candle, those candles are pretty powerful. They can light up pretty much, definitely a whole room or two. If you have high ceilings like I do, the scent can kind of linger upstairs a little bit. Anyway, moving on to the high-end candles. And I also want to talk about how to repurpose your candle containers. I have one that I use, one of the White Barn. I cleaned it out really good. You can dig the bottom of the wick out because that's metal. So you can dig that out with a spoon when your candle's all done, and then put the candle in the microwave, melt the wax, and take the wax and put it into another container and use those little, you can put it in like a ice tray and use those wax melts in your wax warmer, so you get to use all of the wax. Another way I do it is I'll put the whole thing in a pot of water and set it on the stove and let it simmer until the wax melts. And then you can just pull the bottom of the wick out. But I also use the container to store garlic. That's one thing I use my container for. I don't keep a lot of those containers, but I do have that one that I've kept for putting garlic in, and because the lid has a nice rubber ring seal, so it keeps the garlic smell from coming out of there. But you can also, as far as cleaning it, once you get all the wax out, you can add some ammonia or bleach or white vinegar to get the smell of the candle out. Let's see, I haven't used those for this particular canister. I haven't used this for anything other than garlic, but if you like to shop at Home Goods, the DW Home candle is a decent brand there. Most of the time when I get those candles, they're good. Some of those other brands, the candle doesn't burn very well, so that's why it's at Home Goods. But the DW Home, their container, it doesn't seem to hold the odor of the scent of the candle that much. So it's easy to clean that out and get that scent all the way out, and then you can actually put food in there if you want to. I've used those canisters, the big ones. I've used those for flour and sugar, and all my baking goods, and they're just fine. So yeah, because you want to repurpose a lot of those because they're really pretty. And moving on, talking about really pretty, Nest. Y'all familiar with that? Does that look familiar? If you use Nest candles, this may look familiar. This is the larger candle that they have. I think it's a 3-wick. And I use this. I'm in my home now that I just moved in, and I was like, oh, I don't have a vase. I didn't even what did I do with my vase? Can't find it, didn't finish unpacking. And then I remembered I had this, and it's perfect. I just cut the stem down short, and I just love how it works out as a vase. So that's how I repurposed that. And I got a whole set of drinking glasses, courtesy of Nest Candles. Now, those are some really good candles, y'all. And you can get those. I usually get them at Nordstrom or Nest.com. These are some good ones. The scent just lights up your house. This is the one that I talked about when I said people would come to the house. When I was selling my home, they were like, oh, it smells so good in here. This was it, Nest. Doesn't really matter which one. You can buy a few different ones, see what you like. They're all good. Bamboo is one of my favorite ones. And I have saved the best for last, y'all. This is my boo thing here. This is Heaven, Thompson Ferrier. That's the one that I now have an affiliate link that I will share with you. But last week I did the unboxing, showed you the elephant candles. Didn't have an affiliate link at that time, so if you bought something, oh well, that's great and wonderful. But if you didn't, go on and get it now. But the even better news is the CEO of Thompson Ferrier is going to be live with us on the Well Diva page, or also here on YouTube on Wednesday. Okay, so next week, next Well Diva Wednesday, that's going to be May 31st. Okay, so you'll get a notification if you are subscribed here. Please subscribe. Anyway, these are the highest end candles that I have. Okay, these are really luxurious. So first of all, when you first burn your candle, you need to make sure you are going to be near the candle long enough to let it burn until the entire, and I'm gonna use this one because it's a little easier to pick up, until the entire surface is liquid. Now I know I talked about this in another video, but if you missed that one, you wanna make sure the entire surface becomes liquid, okay? If you blow that candle out before that entire surface becomes liquid, all of the part around the perimeter that's solid, that part will never melt. And you will lose that in the burning of your candle. Your candle will start to burn down the middle. So say you light the candle and it starts to get liquid around here, and then you get a phone call. Oh, little Tommy hurt himself at school. You got to come over here and get him right now, child, right now, right? You blow out the candle. When you come back and you go to burn this candle again, only the part that became liquid that first time, that's the only part that's gonna burn for the rest of the life of that candle. And so it's gonna burn down into a hole. And then you're gonna be like, oh, there's some cheap candle. This mess ain't no good. When it was you, boo. You have to let that candle burn all the way out until it's completely liquid. So that's one reason I haven't burned mine, because like I need to be here, make sure I'm gonna be home, and let that candle burn. I don't want to burn it and then leave. That's not a good idea. I'm not saying I've never done that, but that's not the best idea. It's best to be home with your candles, okay? Once you let that become liquid all the way across, then you can let the candle go out. And I don't really like to blow the candle out. Wax can kind of splatter. And then there's some spiritual meaning behind blowing candles out. I forget what it was. But anyway, so I tend not to do that. So you can use a candle snuffer and just hover over the flame and kind of just touch a little bit. If you touch a little bit on the top of that wax, then it'll go out, okay? Another way to do it is, I forget what this thing is called. Right? you take that and you push the wick down into the wax, and that'll take the flame out. Okay, and then you make sure you pull the wick back up. You don't want the wick down in the wax, and then once the wax gets hard, that's it. You're not getting that wick back. So these are items you want to have, at least the candle snuffer. One or the other. You don't need both of those. Okay, and then you want to have your wick trimmer. So one reason you want to trim the wick is because when the wick burns, the wick starts out like this, and you may notice it ends up kind of like that on top, almost like a little ball. So you want to trim that off, okay? You want to trim the wick to about 1/4 inch. One reason is because it becomes more dangerous. The longer the wick is, the bigger your flame can be, and the more dangerous it can be. And then another reason is because you don't want a whole lot of soot, just smoke and soot going on in the house. So trim that wick every single time. Try not to trim it too low, because if you trim it too low, and I've done this, so I know from experience, if you trim your wick too low, you're not going to be able to use your candle. Now, if you trim one wick too low, and you trim the other one just right, when you burn the longer one, the wax is going to melt and it's going to drown out the other wick. So you want to try and make sure you don't trim either one of them too low. Okay, if you don't have a wick trimmer, I just take my, I don't even have fingernails. I just take my finger and pinch off the excess wick and then wash your hands, okay? But get yourself a wick trimmer. They're not that much, so. And then what else I was gonna say is, candle safety, super, super important. So trimming the wick is keeping yourself safe. Letting it burn all the way across is preserving your candle. But what I've noticed, my problem, I've had this happen twice. Once it was me, and once it was the teenager in my house when she was a little younger. No, twice it was me. The candle gets knocked over before the wax gets hard again. So the candle has been blown out or snuffed out or whatever, but it's still liquid. Oh my God, y'all be careful with that, because you're not gonna have a safety issue, but it's gonna ruin some nice clothes and a nice carpet, and you can't get that mess out. And that happened to me a few times. Like very recently, I had a Nest candle. The candle had been snuffed out, and I don't know why, but for some reason I came back like 10 minutes later and picked up the candle to smell it. Like, didn't you already know what this candle smelled like? And that candle just messed up my beautiful Spellman blue crop sweatshirt hoodie. Anyway, I'm still hurt behind that. So yeah, and then one time my daughter knocked it over and the wax got on the new carpet, and that stain never came out because there's oil. The scents come from the wonderful oils, and that got all on the carpet. Then one time I had a candle that it was a candle that dripped. Remember Pier 1? I used to buy all, I'm looking up there because I got some of those. I used to buy all my candles at Pier 1. Y'all know those have real good scent too. But they're the column candles, and the wax started dripping, and it dripped on the floor, and it got on the carpet, and oh God. So that's another thing. Just be careful with, where you're putting the candle and when you're picking it up. If it's not solid, be careful with that. And then also you want to make sure you're putting, like these, they have the little felt feet on the bottom. So, whatever you're putting on is not gonna transfer heat. But with these, they're glass. So be careful with the surface that you're putting this on, or these. If they're glass containers, heat's going to transfer. So make sure, like this one doesn't come with a lid, would have been nice. because then you could take that lid, like with this one, I take the lid and use it as like a little stand so that the heat will just go here and no further than that. And then it won't go to the next, you know, whatever, your glass table, your wood table, whatever. The heat won't transfer there. But with these babies, you don't have to worry about that because he took care of us. Rafi took care of us with that, okay? So then also, I've showed you a few ways to take care. And for the grand finale, I'm gonna light this baby. And I have this gorgeous lighter, so cute. And you can recharge it. Okay, I got it backwards. Okay, so you can recharge it. Oh hell, I still got it backwards. And I have this, you press, you push up, so it comes already charged up. You can see the little blue light showing you that it's charged up. And then there's a little button there that you press, and it will give you your little, I don't know, electric shock, whatever that's gonna, that's gonna light your candle. So y'all ready? Let's do it. I'm finally gonna light this candle. I can't wait. Okay, here we go, here we go. I'm doing it right. Okay, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I can't. I'm trying to be cute without my glasses, but that's okay. I can feel my way. There it goes, y'all. Look. Oh, it's burning. There it goes. And there we have it. Ooh, finally lit that candle. All right, thank you for joining me for what turned out to be a candle class today. And I look forward to having you meet me right back here on Wednesday, May 31st. And that's at noon Pacific or 3 p.m. Eastern. And be ready to shop because Rafi, the CEO of these lovely Thompson Ferrier candles, is going to be with us. And he's going to give you all the information you need. I just touched the surface. But he can tell you so much more about why you will want to have some of these luxurious candles in your home.